reasons as to why our communities or societies are not developing, it is because of lack of trust. So we try to engage into activities that can help them to be trusted. For example, if you become a transparent person, if you become a person of integrity, at your local level, people can trust you. And as they trust you, that means you can be able to work together, you can be able to support each other, and development can easily be influenced. So Path of Integrity Network is here simply to do a mindset shift, just to remind the people, it's not that you were not aware of the things, you know them, but we try to remind you, and we keep talking about them, so that as you get to hear them, maybe you can wake up and try to help your community. I was trying to talk to some younger man today, and yes, I posed the question to him.
Yes.
But what is making Busoga to stay behind, like in terms of development?
Yeah.
And this young man began by telling me that, you know what, it is the government. It is the government.
He concluded immediately.
Yeah, it's the government that is failing us from developing. But we, the Path of Integrity Network, we discovered that there can be many factors.
Yeah.
We can't deny that the government may be part of it, but the biggest percentage that is making you not to develop is within you.
Yeah.
Because in the same country, we have people who are thriving,
True.
who are doing well, under the same government,
yes,
with the same opportunities
yes,
and threats. So we want to say that no, this kind of development, or if you want to realize development in your life, it also goes back to self-discovery.
That's the topic that we've labored to explain and discuss to our audience for a couple of weeks now. And I don't know whether the audience has understood why we've consistently discussed self-discovery on radio. Because we know everything has a turning point from someone discovering who they are, what the purpose of their life is. Today, I was discussing with Dr. Chizito of Miracle Wellness Center, and he's reading a book, A Purpose-Driven Life. That book, I read it some time back while I was at university, around 2006.
Wow.
It is a very good book that helps to reposition you in case you've got lost. Because life has a purpose. And as long as you live, just know that you must live with a purpose. And there has to be things that drive you towards that purpose. You choose to either live a purposeful life or to live one that is not purposeful. And for me, I know so many young people that are growing up. You know, when you're still young, you can dream of everything. You can dream of becoming an engineer, you can dream of becoming a technician, you can dream of becoming anything in the world. But when you get old enough, probably talking about being old, I'm saying you're 30 years, because that's the point when you can no longer get back to the dream, but you either find yourself well positioned in your dream or one that is not living their dream. That's when you begin to see the mistakes that you've done in life. You begin to see the wrong choices that you've taken in life. That is the time when things are actually now coming to be true. The reality has come to face you. You either started a family, you have some kids, you are now a man or you are a woman in a family. So in life, something called purpose is very important. And purpose is, your purpose is what directs you in terms of the right choices. If you decided to live a purposeless life, you have no self-motivation, you are living a life that does not indicate anything that you're chasing for in life, you'll end up getting destroyed. and the world is very fast at destroying people that live purposeless lives.
You know, it was more hurting
Mm.
when this young man I was talking to said that I understand what you are talking about,
Yeah.
but you will not change anything in Busoga.
And you
Because-
see, he has lost hope completely. Yes, yes.
Because we are the way we are because the government has made us to be like this.
That's something that is purely stuck in his
Yeah.
mind.
So he says, if you want to change us, the people,
Mm.
you change the government.
Then what is
I
the
want
government?
to say this. This is not a one factor thing, that destruction of life, destruction of people's direction of life and how they live is supposed to be blamed on, say, government alone. There are so many factors that would create underdevelopment in a community. Recently I was doing a study on the recent research that was carried out by UBOS, and I was asking myself, is it Busoga that is supposed to be the way it is as you compare it with other regions? Because why I say this is that when you look at the recent census report that was released, Busoga is a region with the highest level of unemployment for young people between 15 and 24 years. It's one of the regions with the highest number of unemployment. It has also a number of the uneducated in that age bracket. There are quite a number. And the same that are not trained. They are neither employed nor in training anywhere. So they are dropouts. You can call them illiterates that are in communities. It is one of the regions. Now, when you go to, I'm not going to read you the statistics because they are shocking. I just want to keep on mentioning where we are not featuring well. Busoga is also not doing well when it comes to another age bracket, which is 14 to 64. Unemployment still. It stands at 18%, and the nation's average is 19%.
Wow.
So we are just one digit away from hitting the nation's highest.
Which means we take the biggest percentage.
Yeah, and the list is 8%. So you can see the margin. We are at 18.2%. That is Busoga. And we are talking about the most active age groups, that's 14 to 64. Unemployment rate among persons aged between 14 to 64. Now, the same Busoga is equally not doing well when it comes to people between 18 to 30. That's a very active age group, 18 to 30. These are not in employment, not in education, not in training. We are at 60.9. The nation's highest is 63.0, which is somewhere around, which region is which districts are these? The region there is Lango sub-region, which actually is the highest. That is unemployment, meaning people don't have what to do. They are not in jobs. They are not doing anything.
Wow.
Then the same Busoga among age groups 10 to 17 has young people that are married. Which age is that? 10 to 17 years. These have not made the national marriage, the officially known age of an adult, which is 18. So 10 to 17 is a very risky age. These are young people, but they are married. These are married, and some are cohabiting. There are 58,672 in total. 58,672. And the nation's highest is 101,000, meaning that we are around there. We are not doing well. You understand? In this bracket, Buganda actually has the highest. Buganda region, followed by I think here now where Busoga, followed by Busoga. Young people that are married. So when you talk about a region that has these so many definitions of not doing well, unemployment, marriage, it does not just come to your mind and say, let's give up. There has to be something to be done.
And compared to the different regions now,
Of course, I didn't want to go into the comparison.
yeah,
I didn't want to go
you
into
can't
that.
really say that it is the government because now, actually, politicians should take the responsibility of explaining to people, telling them the right message as they go out to look for votes. Most especially people who are in the government, politicians who are on the NRM side, for example. As you go out there to talk to the people, tell them the truth. Why are they failing to develop? Because sometimes I see the president taking time to explain this to the people, him being on radio, talking to the people, telling them the truth. But while his ambassadors are not doing enough to explain to the people. I don't know whether even us, the church, need to talk to the people and change their mindset.
No, the message has to be worked on. There is a colleague of mine who stays in the US. He was telling me today that in the US, if you got in church for over 5 hours, then they will ask you, what are you doing? Why are you in church for 5 hours? What are you doing in church?
Praying.
What prayer is that? That you have to spend 5 full hours of your day praying. And for them, they limit prayer to hours, and then people go and make money. Because they know that it is not all about what you're praying. Prayer without action, I think that is in James, is totally dead. If you do not practice the action bit and you only concentrate on the prayer bit, then there is no miracle that will happen to you to bring bread on table. That is what he was saying. And his argument was very correct. Because look at the hours that we spend in Busoga working. How many hours do we spend working? And what are the tangible things that we spend doing that attract finances to this region? That's one other thing that you need to look at. Now, if we are not having a product that is clearly known that this is a Busoga product which can actually be bought, what are we attracting to this region in terms of the economics of this country? Why are people poor? Because people have nothing to sell. That is where the problem is. Now, for such regions, you need the pastors to communicate a lot of work. People to do a lot of work. People to go and dig. People to go and rear animals. There has to be something that is bringing the economy of the households. Something bring money, something actually bring food on their tables.
What you are trying to mean is that if people have lost hope within the politicians, then the church
should stand out.
It
is always the church, by the way. In the US in 1776, it was not until the US brought the church to politics that there was stability. In fact, when you talk about the American Revolution, it was led by men of God.
Someone will say that churches are also not trusted these days.
Now, that comes to us, brings about a question. Are churches meant to change lives of people, or they are meant to change lives of the leaders of the churches? These are questions that we need to ask ourselves. Are we doing this for the good of the masses? Because why would I lead a church with poor people? Yet our God has every wealth for us.
By the way, if the church can only stand, if all religious institutions stand in their position, there are these institutions to guide the government.
Exactly.
And support the government.
Yes.
In mentoring and futuring the people.
Yes.
But if the government again sees a weakness within the church leaders, going to them to beg for money, being corrupt, then that means even the government can lose hope within churches, and it will have nothing to do. By the way, I think at some point the government may want to put things right, but you can't manage everyone with this type of thinking. Somebody at the local level. Now, just imagine one person is saying in a certain community is saying that it's the government failing us to develop. And how many people has this person corrupted?
Of course, he has corrupted many. He has corrupted.
If he has if he has talked to 1, 2, 3, 10 people, that is the message they will take.
Let me tell you, Pastor, if you want to see that there is total destruction in our community, just go meet people randomly, young people around 18 to 20 something years, maybe they're out of school, and ask them, what is your future? What do you plan to do? You understand? I am, in my capacity, a person that has led human beings as a manager at a certain point. There are so many people that have no hope. People have lost hope. And that is a very terrible thing for a country to have people that have lost hope. Whereby someone does not see anything beyond what he is. In fact, some people have accepted the life they are leading. And it's all they say that, but what else can I do? What can I do beyond me? You know, God created a human being with all capacities to come out of any difficult situation. A human being is one creature, I should call it, that God gave the capacity to overcome anything that is a challenge. That is what God did. Because he gave at our disposal so many things that can be used to turn life to a better life. In fact, any challenge for a human being has to come with a solution. I will ask you a question. How come when continents were not connecting at one point, our forefathers, the great-great-grand people in this country, in this world, thought they should actually find a way of connecting to other destinations? They used ships at that time. They used oxen. They actually went as far as planning to start flying. But that, whatever you see today, be it a phone was out of a challenge of communication. That instead of moving for distances to reach out to Pastor Asaph, I should have something that makes it easy for me to reach Pastor Asaph. So imagine that mind that thought about creating a phone. People think that the African tradition, our great-great-parents did not do much. I was seeing a video as far, I think it was done in around, should be 1840s, 1860s, when the Nile River was being connected through what they call a bridge. But it was being, what the people did by that time is that they carried trees. They used trees to actually connect the river from one side to the other. Today we have the bridges being constructed.
Wow.
But I am very sure, without even the whites in this continent, Africans would have constructed these bridges. Because they constructed houses that they were sleeping in. They constructed roads. You understand? But it was through the challenges that they were facing that they managed to think beyond just mere living in maybe an isolated forest or an area that has been cut off by a river.
Can we say that we people in Wisoga are not thinking because we have not yet discovered our problem?
We are thinking but not thinking right. That's the difference.
Maybe someone has not discovered his or her problem, or that maybe they are problemed somewhere. Because if that was so, then people would wake up and start thinking and try to create a solution for our community. How best can we develop this Pusoka? Because now if you talked about people who created means of transport from one continent to the other, they did that because of the problem that was existing. They understood that there was a challenge.
A challenge, yes.
So that's why I'm saying that maybe here in our community, people have not yet faced a serious challenge.
There are two things that normally face communities or that are underdeveloped, sometimes that maintains them in underdevelopment. One, apportioning blame. Whenever you apportion blame that I am this because of so, then there are high chances that you may not act on the problem that you're facing. I have failed because of so. Pastor Asaph. I am poor because of so and so. There are high chances that you may keep on lamenting on your failures because so and so has caused you that. The other thing that I equally know and think is the reason as to why underdeveloped places become so is the thinking that we need someone to come and solve our problem. That is thinking outside the box. The problem you're facing is affecting you, but you want a solution to come from outside. You get me? Now, by the time you wait for that solution to come, the problem will not go. And there is no one, take it from me, Pastor, there is no one that is willing to solve a problem that is not his. Don't you see the Western countries? They have challenges, but they solve their challenges by themselves. There is no amount of funding, whether donation, whether grants, that can come from the West to come and solve problems in Africa. There is no amount of money that will come from the central government to solve the problem of Busoga. It has to be the Basoga themselves to realize that this challenge is affecting them, to actually begin on a process of fighting the problem through solutions. And how is that done? The president of the US, I think, is Roosevelt. In 1930, around 1930s, when an area was flooded, that is the Tennessee Valley area, for so many years they were challenged. People were suffering from lots of waterborne diseases, bilharzia, talk about so many of them. And because he knew that his presidency cannot solve everything, he invited people that were facing the challenge and told them, how can we come and how can we overcome this challenge? Brilliant solutions came from the people who are facing the challenge. And that is now the reason as to why you find that they constructed it's called the Tennessee Valley area. Of course, they utilized the challenge to develop that area into now a business hub. You understand?
Sure.
If the problem is that our area is underdeveloped, how many have mentioned that in terms of making them understand that the problem has come in because we have not done A, B, C, D? How many have sat as elders of, say, Busoga, as people in Busoga that are willing to see the challenge overcome, and have invited the same people that are challenged and asked them, what can we do to solve this problem? Without giving them money, but making sure that they think beyond the problem and say, now, because we are not going to get funding from central government, we're not going to get funding from the US or from Britain, how can we overcome this problem? Because it's a problem that you're facing. A solution that is internally generated is more effective than an external solution, Pastor. You'll never have a solution coming from outside to solve a problem that you are facing.
And now, to begin with, one has to understand the challenge.
Exactly.
Or the problem.
Yes.
Before they
But
come.
do we know that we're in a problem?
That's the thing.
Do we know that we are poor? Is it known to us that we are a place that is suffering with so many teenage pregnancies? Do we appreciate that that is a problem? That's a challenge that we are facing.
One person mentioned that, the problem with Basoga is because when one gets well, they don't think about the rest.
I don't want to buy in that school of thought, because I really believe my solution should come from myself. It shouldn't come from someone else.
So you don't wait for the neighbor's support.
I have a story to tell you. There's a young man who called me recently after around 4 to 5 years. He got lost from me 5 years ago. I taught him at Ginger SS. This young man used to frequent my department where I used to teach. And he would come do a lot of consultations. Never mind, he was not my direct student that I was teaching him in the subject that I was teaching at A level. He was a student doing sciences. But he loved discussing with me so many things. So I would also feel free to share with him. This young man was focused, but he was poor from a very humble background. He told me one time that I must be an engineer. And I said, yes, you can be it, because whatever you confess, you will be. He came and actually worked with me briefly as a marketeer in my company where I work. But later on, got a chance, I think got a scholarship to go and study at KIU Western Campus. Recently, he called me and said, sir, I'm glad for all the time that you spent with me, because it guided me. I'm a fully qualified engineer. I got a first class in engineering. I was so pleased to hear him speak to me, because I kept on remembering all that he talked about, what he wanted to be. How many of us are patient to wait for 4 years to see the fruit of our effort? How many of us, young people that are listening to this radio, can patiently wait for 3-4 years? Today we have students that are graduating from Makerere University. They have not been in your community. They have been lost from the community for so long, maybe 3 years, 4 years. They have not been in community. But they are here, winning a graduation, getting graduated today. That takes me to what I said earlier on. If you want to solve the problem, then it's not going to be done today. You're not going to solve it tomorrow. You must have patience in getting the solution completely done. And I know everything is possible. Today's most successful regions in Uganda were once the poorest in Uganda. But they sat and understood where the problem was. They sorted out the problem. What is wrong with us to sit as a community and say, enough is enough. We can change from whatever we are. We can change from being a region that is always defined by problems, that people are laughing at us. That is all. And this has to be a candid discussion to highlight not our positions, not our monies, not everything, but getting out all those positions, all the money that we have, and we sit down to generate discussions that are serious on issues that are affecting us. And that is when we can come up with a document that speaks about our challenges, and the challenges get solutions. Guys, thank you so much for sparing time to reach out to us. For those that have appreciated, we are challenging you, we are provoking you to start thinking beyond the challenges that you're facing. Yes, we can attribute our challenges to failures by some people, but that will not bring you out of the challenge. All that you need to do is focus on exactly how you're going to start a new beginning in life. The air is still actually fresh. You can start small and grow big. Just put it in one of your daily reminders that I should not remain the same. Life is about what you decide. Today, if you decided to remain poor, trust me, you'll end up there poor. But if you decided to say, no, enough is enough, I am going to kick the bucket of poverty and start the bucket of wealth, trust me, we shall meet you very rich as the year comes to an end. Pastor.
Yeah, I just want to remind my sister, is it that one who talked about capital?
Capital, yes.
You know, this is what we've been talking about. If you have no one to help you,
yeah,
think about how you can help yourself.
Sure.
Think about how you can create your own capital.
Our time is fast spent.
So, members, let's meet next Monday. God bless you.
God bless you too.